Let's see you create bringing a greater sunlight, happier sunlight, King, where wisdom, beauty, mood, and grace, out of the sacredness of the sea. King Aquatic, listen through the rain to other sounds than we listen for here.
Good morning. So we're reading in Book 4, the Book of Birth and Quest. So we're in Canto 3, the Call to the Quest. On page 371, 6 lines up from the bottom. So in this canto, Savitri is called to her quest to find her mate, to travel out into the world. And as I said last time, this canto is kind of a combination of some profound passages and some beautiful poetry. So we were just reading this interruption by kind of the narrator of the poem, who is a voice that Asopati hears and is explaining to him the nature of reality. It begins kind of towards the top of page 370. It says, "O force-compelled, fate-driven, earth-born race." So it's addressed to the human race. "O petty adventurers in an infinite world, and prisoners of a dwarf humanity, how long will you tread the circling tracks of mind around your little self and petty things?" So it's a call to all of us to turn from our little lives and our petty things and turn towards the divine. But not for a changeless littleness were you meant, not for vain repetition were you built. Out of the immortal substance you were made. Your actions can be swift, revealing steps. Your life a changeful mold for growing gods. A seer, a strong creator is within. The immaculate grandeur broods upon your days. Almighty powers are shut in nature's cells. So he's explaining the possibilities, the potentials, and perhaps the destiny of the human race. And it goes on to explain how we're caught up in the littleness. A spell is laid upon his glorious strengths. He has lost the inner voice that led his thoughts, and masking the auricular tripod seat, a specious idol fills the marble shrine. The great illusion wraps him in its veils. The soul's deep intimations come in vain. Yeah, it's towards the bottom of 371, just the last lines that we read last time. In vain is the unending line of seers. The sages ponder in unsubstantial light. The poets lend their voice to outward dreams. The homeless fire inspires the prophet tongues. Now we can continue from that line, 6 lines up from the bottom. And Sudanya, would you like to say?
Before that, there is a word called immaculate. Does it mean anything special?
Immaculate?
Yes. And grandiose.
Yeah, well, it's absolutely pure, but it's also often applied in the religious Christian context of the Immaculate Conception of Mary, Jesus' birth. So she was immaculate.
Absolutely pure.
Absolutely pure. Divinely pure.
Heaven's flaming lights descend and back return. The luminous eyes approaches and retrieves. Eternity speaks, none understands its word. Fate is unwilling, and the abyss denies. The inconscious, mindless waters drop all down. Only a little lifted is mind's scream. The wise who knows see but one half of truth. The strong climb hardly to a low-peaked height. The hearts that earn are given 1 hour to love. His tail upward falters the secret bird. The gods are still too few in mortal forms. The voice we dream into a hidden skies, but like a shining answer from the gods. Approach through sun-bright passes Savitri, advancing amid parallel.
So this is the conclusion to the speech of the voice from above that comes to Asopati. And here he explains that so many sages and seers, even avatars, have come and gone, and still the human race has not been uplifted. Only a little mind screen has been lifted. So we keep going round and round in this circle. And of course, this is why Asopati implored the Divine Mother to descend, to change And that is what the mother and the supramental force comes to transform, to enlighten that inconscient base. So the voice is telling all seems blocked. Any solution to this problem of human life seems out of reach. And then the voice withdraws, and then before Asopati walks Savitri, as if the answer to this problem, to this difficulty of human life.
And also here, the first line on 372, the wise, even with big letters, who know, see but one half of truth. It's not the wise one who see the full truth.
Yeah, that is, the saints and sages of the traditional Indian spirituality saw one half of truth. They realized the Brahman consciousness, the oneness behind all things, and could live in that consciousness. But it was one half of the truth. It was the passive Brahman, the silent Brahman that looks on all things as if removed from them, is unaffected by all that happens, but does not transform that manifestation of what it watches as a disinterested witness. So that's one half of the truth. The other half is the transformation of that manifestation in the light of that consciousness, in the power of the dynamic Brahman. So Savitri has come to bring that divine power and to transform life, the manifestation, earth. But like a shining answer from the gods, approached through sun-bright spaces Savitri, advancing amid tall, heaven-pillaring trees, appareled in her flickering colored robe, she seemed burning towards the eternal realms, a bright moved torch of incense and of flame, that from the sky-roofed temple soil of earth a pilgrim hand lifts in an invisible shrine. So here, after this voice really explaining the paradox of human life with its possibilities but its inability to move forward, we have this beautiful poetry that comes next. And this is the beginning of it. So, Sugandhya, or, no, sorry. No.
There came the gift of a revealing hour. We saw through the depths the reinterpret all, limited not now by a dull body's eyes, new found through an arc of clear discovery, this intimation of the world's delight, this wonder of the divine artist's make, carved like a nectar cup for thirsty gods. This breathing scripture of the eternal's joy, this net of sweetness woven of aureate fire. Transformed, the delicate image face became a deeper nature's self-revealing sign, a gold leaf palmy pest of sacred birds, a grave word symbol chiseled out of life. Her brow, a copy of clear, unstained heavens, was meditation's pedestal and defense. The very room and smile of musing space is brooding line infinity's simple curve. Amid her stresses, cloudy multitude, her long eyes shadows as if by wings of night, under that moon gold forehead's dreaming breath, were seas of love and thought that held the world. Marveling at life and earth, they saw truths are.
Thank you. That's fun. After this voice has come and he's touched by some inspiration or revelation, he sees deeper into Savitri like he's never seen before, the divinity within her. And here, Sri Aurobindo describes her physical appearance to him now in this new light. This wonder of the divine artists make, carved like a nectar cup for thirsty gods. This breathing scripture of the eternal's joy, this net of sweetness woven of orient fire.
Why you maybe understand the word, the thirsty gods?
Yeah, why thirsty gods?
He offers them the nectar cup because they're thirsty.
She's a nectar.
Concentrate on the nectar cup.
It's the cup and the nectar.
They offer to the gods this nectar, I suppose, in the rituals.
The gods want transformation also. That's why they're thirsty.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
They're already water.
Yeah.
But so
We don't want any trouble.
they're part of us.
No, but what I understand, gods also don't change. Human beings can change, according to what I understood from Auroville.
Right. The gods are to help us.
Gods remain as such, as eternal, the same quality, same power.
They do, but we're talking about us here.
Yes, no,
We're
yes.
talking about us.
Us is we are changing, but we are talking about gods in that question. Thirsty cup, nectar cup.
Well, they don't change on their plane, but they can
Come down.
take birth in a human form if they want to continue, I think Shiradago says. And even the Asuras also can come down and convert and change the original gods, the original beings who turned against the divine. They also came, and they came and became part of Mother's life. She tried to transform them. Some, I think, were willing and some were not to change.
Practically speaking, it's a change for the human beings. Again, God's descent, they change the human beings themselves. It's human race, it's not God's changing.
But the lower gods, they like these offerings, no?
Yeah.
So they accept these sacrifices of the human beings, and that the rishis made in the fire, and they would put honey and different things as offerings to the fire.
They get also nourished by this.
And we get nourished by it.
Yeah.
This gold leaf palimpsest of sacred births. So this palimpsest is a manuscript, usually on papyrus or parchment, that has been written on more than once, with earlier writing incompletely erased and often legible. So they apparently would rewrite over these leaves. Right.
Is very valuable. That's why antique texts, for instance, they found only on Christian texts when they X-rayed them, because they were there before. They scratched it all up and put something else on top. So it can be many layers.
But now why would he compare her to that? Perhaps it suggests her previous lives or something like that. She had this previous development, which was there, which was still perhaps legible, could see within her, but over and over again she's come. Her sacred birth, a grave world symbol chiseled out of life. And then her brow, her eyebrows, a copy of clear, unstained heavens. Shraddhavan says that Sri Aurobindo describes her eyebrows 4 times in the poem. Something very special.
It isn't the whole brow, not just the eyebrow.
No, it's not. He's talking about his
Oh, the brow,
forehead.
the forehead is the very room and smile of musing space, its brooding line, infinity's symbol curve. And then amid her tresses, these are her locks of hair falling down over her face. Amid her tresses, cloudy multitude, her long eyes shadowed as by wings of night. And I think of Mother's kind of mascara that she had put quite broadly drew on her eyelids. Under that gold moon gold forehead's dreaming breath were seas of love and thought. that held the world. Marveling at life and earth, they saw truths far, far ahead into the future. So we continue, Martin.
A deathless meaning filled her mortal limbs, as in a golden vase's poignant line, there seemed to carry the rhythmic sob of bliss, of earth's mute adoration towards heaven, released in beauty's prime of living form, towards the perfection of eternal things. Transparent long, the ephemeral living dress bears the expressive deity to his view, escaped from surface sight and mortal sense. The seething harmony of its shapes became the strange significant icon of a power, Auroville, its inscrutable descent into the human figure of its works that stood out in life's bold, abrupt relief on the soil of the evolving universe. A godhead sculptured on a wall of thought, mirrored in the flowing hours and dimly shine in matters as inaccessible pave. And now were the transient values of the mind. The body sense renounced its earthly look. Immortal met immortal in their gaze.
Thank you. So the first sentence again describes her limbs that seem filled with deathless meaning and seem to carry the rhythmic sob of bliss, of earth's mute adoration towards heaven, released in beauty's cry of living form towards the perfection of eternal things. That beauty that we see in nature and in human beings at a deeper level represents this adoration towards perfection, towards heaven, towards the perfection of eternal things. It also expresses something of that in matter, in form. So he sees that in her limbs, that beauty aspiring towards heaven. Transparent grown, the ephemeral living dress is speaking of her physical form, bear the expressive deity to his view. Her physical form is expressing that deity. He sees the deity in her. Escaped from surface sight and mortal sense, the seizing harmony of its shapes became a strange, significant icon of a power, renewing its inscrutable descent into a human figure of its works. Again, the descent of that original power, which was there at the beginning of the poem, I think I read last time, from the first canto of the poem, some parallels with Savitri. So into her human figure that stood out in life's bold, abrupt relief, it stands out on the soil of the evolving universe. She seems a Godhead sculptured on a wall of thought, mirrored in the flowing hours, and dimly shrined in matter as in a cathedral cave. She seems like a Godhead drawn on the cathedral cave. Annulled were the transient values of the mind. In Asapati, he seen beyond. The body's sense renounced its earthly look. Immortal met immortal in their gaze. They look upon each other, deity to deity. The divine in him sees the divine in her. And perhaps she also sees him in that deeper sense.
That is the first step to one line. I have a question of earth's mute adoration towards heaven. This is only meant, that is the fourth line from top. Is this only meant from Savitri or in general?
No, he's speaking, he's comparing her beauty to Earth's, nature's mute adoration towards heaven. So like I was describing, this beauty of nature also is a reflection of the divine within nature, aspiring upwards, seeking, trying to express that divinity. And she is like that to him now. He sees that as if a flower of the divine in nature. So in nature, there's this mute adoration. There's this beauty of the trees and the flowers, the animals, but they don't speak of it. They just express it in their form. So then we'll continue. Awaken.
Awaked from the close spell of daily use that hides soul truth with the outward form's disguise. He saw through the familiar cherished lens the great and unknown spirit born his child. And impromptu, from the deeper sight within, thoughts rose in him that knew not their own scope. Then to those large and brooding depths whence love guarded him across the straits of mind, he spoke in sentences from the unseen heights. For the hidden prompters of our speech sometimes can use the formulas of a moment's mood to weigh unconscious lips with words from fate. A casual passing phrase can change our life. O spirit traveler of eternity, who camest from immortal space here, armed for the splendid hazard of thy life, to set thy conquering foot on chance and time. The moon shut in her halo dreams like thee. A mighty presence still defends thy frame. Perhaps the heavens guard thee for some great soul. Thy fate, thy work are kept somewhere afar. Thy spirit came not down a star alone.
Thank you. So in this first sentence, Sri Aurobindo explains more directly, clearly, that Asupati is seeing this divinity within her form, that he's awakened from the close spell of daily use, that is, the spell of our usual mind and consciousness that only looks at the appearances of things, scans over the deeper significances, that hides soul truth with the outward forms disguise. He saw through the familiar cherished limbs, the great and unknown spirit born his child. And then, from that deeper vision, some thoughts, deeper thoughts arise in him. Along with this revelation of this deeper seeing comes this deeper voice, deeper words expressing these. And impromptu, from the deeper sight within, thoughts rose in him that knew not their own scope. And then, to those large and brooding depths, whence love regarded him across the straits of mind. So he's looking into the brooding depths of her eyes that gaze at him from across the straits of mind. A strait is like a narrow channel of water between two larger bodies of water. So they're looking across this strait of mind at each other.
So love is speaking to him now.
No, this still is kind of a narration.
And those large and brooding depths, hence love regarded him. Love is regarding Ashwapati, I think.
Yes, but
across the streets of mind.
right.
And then
But
he's
the love, it's Savitri, right?
Sorry?
It is Savitri who's regarding. He's looking at Savitri, they're looking at one another across the straits of mind.
Savitri, not love abstract, like God of love.
Well, he's seeing this love in her eyes, to those large and brooding depths whence love regarded him. So he sees the love in her in her eyes regarding him. Then he speaks in sentences from the unseen heights.
Who speaks then?
Asopati speaks.
Okay.
He speaks now.
Himself.
He will speak in a few lines down. Okay? So again, he's inspired from some greater consciousness, speaks through him. For the hidden prompters of our speech sometimes can use the formulas of a moment's mood to weigh unconscious lips with words from fate. A casual passing phrase can change our life.
When inspiration comes in.
Yeah. And these words which he will speak are going to change Savitri's life. So then he speaks, O Spirit, traveler of eternity. See how he addresses her now, because he's seeing this deeper Savitri, who came as from the immortal spaces here, armed for the splendor hazard of thy life, to set thy conquering foot on chance and time. This is what she's come to change. The moon shut in her halo dreams like me. Now this line suggests, like the moon is shut in its halo, she also has this greater divinity shut within her form, in her life. Something like that. A mighty presence still defends thy frame. Within her physical frame, there's a mighty presence within. Perhaps the heavens guard thee for some great soul. Thy fate, thy work are kept somewhere afar. So her fate and work are not right here, right now. The secret of that is somewhere else. Thy spirit came not down a star alone. So now he's saying, you have not come here on earth alone. Someone else is there. O living inscription of the beauty of love. Oh, that's the next reading.
Well, would you say this is the first time that he really gets it about Savitri? Like, she's been living in the palace.
Yeah.
So this is a great cinematic scene because he's sitting in the garden with the huge trees, and suddenly she comes walking. And he's heard the voice, and then, oh, that's her.
Yeah.
And then they immortal gaze between the two of them, and then he gives his prophetic, then he realizes she has to go out and find Sakya. So it's a pivot in the story.
I never got this before. Very interesting that you work it out.
Yeah, now he's realizing who Savitri is.
She came around 1 year later after he asked the Divine Mother to come.
Right.
But now 16 years old, I think she is Savitri, so 17 years old.
Missed out, I don't know.
Huh?
The next word.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Who's helmet reasons?
No, please explain. Miss out and Auroville.
Yeah, we're going to read that section now.
So, okay.
Let's read it first.
This line is also very important for me. A casual passing phrase can change our life. Some phrase somewhere somebody utters and that changes our life. That also is.
But especially some inspired words,
Yes, of course.
like Savitri.
Yes.
Or living inscription of the beauty of love, whispered in Auroville, virginity. What message of heavenly strength of this in me is written with the eternal sunlight script. One shall discover and greaten with it his life, to whom thou loosenest thy heart's jeweled strings. O rubies of silence, lips from which there stole low laughter, music of tranquility, star-lustrous eyes awake in sweet large light, and limbs like fine ovens made of gold, stanza to glimmering curves by artist lips. Depart where love and destiny call you to charm. Venture through the deep world and find thy way. For somewhere on the wandering rest of earth, thy unknown lover waits for thee, the unknown. Thy soul is strength and needs no other guide than one who burns within thy bosom's powers. There shall draw near to meet thy approaching steps, the second self for whom thy nature asks. He who shall walk until thy body's end, and close bound traveler pacing with thy pace, the lyrist of thy soul's most intimate chords, who shall give voice to what in thee is tuned.
Thank you. Okay, Asapati continues explaining to Savitri what she needs to do. In the first lines, O living inscription of the beauty of love, missal in orient virginity. So, a missal is a book of prayers or songs sung in a church mass. So they're these little books and they collect all the songs that are going to be sung or the prayers that are going to be said out loud by the congregation during the Mass. So they're all collected in a little book, and They probably have these strings around them that can keep you place. So he's comparing her something to that, and missile, collected as if in a book, in aureate virginity. Aureate is golden, brilliant, or splendid. What message of heavenly strength and bliss indeed is written with the eternal sun-white script. So what she has within her is written in the eternal script, perhaps in that book of prayers that encloses her.
You can have the double meaning also, because she's sent out, see, as a missile.
Oh, missile.
Yeah. It's a double entendre.
Okay.
She has to go, see, to
Yeah.
find it.
So there's
She's
this
taking
other
the
sense of
message.
missile,
Yeah,
which is spelled differently, but it's
yeah. Sounds the same.
sounds.
Missiles were there in the 50s?
Yeah, they
the
were.
40s?
Yeah, they were.
So what she has within her, one shall discover, and greaten with it his life. To whom thou loosenest thy heart's jewel strings, to whom she opens her heart. O rubies of silence, lips from which there stole low laughter, music of tranquility, star-lustrous eyes awake in sweet large night. Again, he's describing her. And limbs like fine-limbed poems made of gold, stanza to glimmering curves by artist gods. Depart where love and destiny call your charm. Venture through the deep world to find thy mate. So there he is, directly telling her. For somewhere on the longing breast of earth, thy unknown lover waits for thee, the unknown. She's the unknown. Thy soul has strength and needs no other guide than one who burns within thy bosom's powers. There shall draw near to meet thy approaching steps, the second self of whom thy nature asks. So he's has a premonition, he knows what's going to happen, or this voice that speaks in him knows. And then, he who shall walk until thy body's end. He also suggests this deeper knowledge is not taken in by this fate of his death. He who shall walk until thy body's end, a close-bound traveler pacing with thy pace, the lyrist of thy soul's most intimate chords, who shall give voice to what indeed is need. Perhaps Savitri also from this carries that assurance or sense that she will overcome Satyavan's death. Because here he says,
Yes. Can you a little bit more? I think you just mentioned what's the meaning of the unknown. It is she. Can you?
well, I think that she is still unknown to him, to Satchivan. They will not really know each other until their eyes meet and look into each other's eyes.
They are not also.
We are both are unknown basically.
Yes, okay.
But he's also saying that something in you will come out because with his presence, when he joins you in life,
Yeah,
something which is mute inside you will also come out.
yeah. So I'll continue. Would you over here?
So
206.
Then shall you grow.
206.
Yeah.
Then shall give voice to what in thee is mute. Then shall you grow like vibrant, kindred harps, one in the beats of difference and delight, responsive in divine and equal strengths, discovering new notes of the eternal theme. One force shall be your mover and your guide, one light shall be around you and within. Hand in strong hand, confront heaven's question life, challenge the ordeal of the immense disguise, ascend from nature to divinity's heights, face the high gods, crowned with felicity, then meet a greater God, thyself beyond time, this world, O seed of all the thing to you. A hand from some greatness opened her heart's locked doors and showed the work for which her strength was born. As when the mantra sings in yoga's ear, its message enters stirring the blind brain and keeps in the dim ignorant cells its sound. The hearer understands a form of words and musing on the index thought it holds. He strives to read it with the laboring mind, but finds bright hints, not the embodied truth. Then falling silent in himself to know, he meets the deeper listening of his soul. The word repeats itself in rhythmic strengths, thought, vision, feeling, sense. The body's self are seized utterly and endures an ecstasy and an immortal change. He feels a wideness and becomes a power. All knowledge rushes on him like a sea. Transmuted by the white spiritual ray, he walks in heavens of joy and calm, sees the God face and hears transcendent speech, and equal greatness in her life was sown.
Thank you. in these first lines, the end of Asapati's speech to Savitri, it reminds us of Sri Aurobindo and the mother to some extent, how they grew together like vibrant kindred harps, one in the beats of difference and delight, responsive in divine and equal strains, discovering new notes of the eternal theme. One force shall be your mover and your guide. One light shall be around you and within. Hand in strong hand, confront heaven's question, life. Challenge the ordeal of the immense disguise. So this ordeal of the immense disguise is how life hides, disguises that divinity within, and the ordeal is the difficulty of that disguise, of being that disguise, deforming that inner light and divinity and beauty in the physical form. Ascend from nature to divinity's heights, face the high gods, crowned with felicity, then meet a greater God, thyself beyond time. To go beyond into the transcendent, to bring a greater force down into time.
So then he has also expressed her journey to find her soul, that she has to find it.
Yeah, she has to find her soul also. So this word was seed of all the thing to be. So it describes all that will unfold. You were going to say something?
No, just say we're back to the gods again. See, the high gods are there, but when we go beyond time, see, then we have to discover a greater God with those. And this is part of the plan.
Yeah, perhaps, all the states of being, all the states of consciousness, I think are embodied in gods or in different beings. So there is this divine bliss, but it's also embodied in Krishna. So all the different gods embody these different aspects of the impersonal divine, of the forces that it has.
So she has descended from the Divine Mother from the very top, and when she goes up again, she has to go through the planes of gods again, that means. From human beings, she will go gods and still higher gods, and ultimately she reach where she came from. The journey will be the reverse direction.
To me it suggests going up to the supramental realm, to go beyond, to the next step, beyond the gods, beyond the overmind gods, to a greater God.
Because we're all gods. I mean, the mother always said that thing about the sunlit path, it's the way of the gods. And it's the way open to us. But people don't want to do it.
So then there is this long sentence, I think it's about 19 lines. It's one of the longest in the poem, not the longest, but one of them. about mantra, and he describes, I think, fairly straightforwardly, but about how mantra works. But I'll read Shadavan's explanation of these lines. So she says, next comes a very long sentence. It's one of the longest sentences in Savitri, and it's very important for us. Most of it is an image. It starts as when the mantra sinks in yoga's ear. So Sri Aurobindo is going to describe something, the effect that the mantra has. And at the end of the sentence, right down on line 238, he tells us, an equal greatness in her life was sown. It is as if she has heard a mantra, and the full meaning of it has entered her consciousness. She feels completely changed and transmuted by this message, this seed. So let us read this step by step. Sri Aurobindo is telling us the 4 stages, what happens when we hear the mantra. So the first, its message enters, stirring the blind brain, and keeps in the dim, ignorant cells its sound. She says, of course, nowadays we read mantras, but the traditional way of transmitting a mantra was that the guru would speak it to you in your ear. When the mantra sinks in the ear, what happens first is that the sound enters the ear, it stirs the brain just hears the sound, but it does not understand the message. And the mantra keeps in the dim, ignorant cells, in the brain cells, its sound. Sound of the mantra gets imprinted there. This is the first stage. So traditionally, we are told that when we are learning a mantra, the sound is very, very important. It is the rhythm and the sound of the words. Getting that right is the first stage. And then the hearer understands the form of words, and musing on the index thought it holds, he strives to read it with the laboring mind, but finds bright hints, not the embodied truth. This is what we do here. The hearer understands a form of words. We try to understand. We muse, we concentrate on the thought that is held there in the words. A thought, he says, is an index. It is pointing to something behind or beyond the words. We concentrate on the words and try to grasp the thought that is held there in the words. We strive to understand it with our laboring mind. That is what we do. What we find is just bright hints of the meaning. There are some indications. We get a feeling, oh yes, I understand that sentence. But we have not received the embodied truth, the truth of which the mantra is the sound body. Nevertheless, this is a very important second step. All these 4 steps are important in the tradition. Now the third step. Then, falling silent in himself to know, he meets the deeper listening of his soul. Then he, the hearer of the mantra, has to silence his mind. He has to silence the laboring mind. He has to fall silent in himself and concentrate on the sound which is there in his brain. Then he comes into contact with the deeper listening of his soul. It is not the listening of the physical ears or the brain. It is not the listening of the mind. It is the listening of the soul. The soul has to hear the mantra. When the soul hears the mantra, what happens? The word repeats itself in rhythmic strains. Thought, vision, feeling, sense, the body's self are seized unutterably, and he endures an ecstasy and an immortal change. The mantra starts repeating itself in its rhythm, its correct rhythm. It goes on, repeating itself. And with the repetition of the mantra, silently within him, everything gets seized with that vibration. Thought, vision, feeling, sense, and the whole body begin to vibrate and are seized unutterably. That feeling is impossible to express. He, the listener, endures this experience. It may be difficult to bear that experience because it is so intense. It is an ecstasy and an immortal change. There is a realization, a complete transformation of some kind. That is what is described in the next step. He feels wideness and becomes of power. All knowledge rushes on him like a sea. Transmuted by the white spiritual ray, he walks in naked heavens of joy and calm, sees the God face, and hears transcendent speech. And equal greatness in her life was sown. He gets the full effect of the mantra. He feels a wideness, actually becomes a power, and all knowledge rushes in like a sea breaking through a dam or a dike. He becomes transmuted, changed in form, transformed by that white spiritual ray. His whole being and nature is changed. He walks in naked heavens of joy and calm. Those heavens are not covered by anything anymore. He can walk in them, experience them intensely. He can see the face of the divine, and he can hear the speech, the voice that comes from the transcendent. This is an enormous change. This is the real purpose of the mantra. When the Guru gives you the mantra, it is meant to bring about the realization, a complete change in your being. As if Asupati had spoken to her a mantra, his words sunk into her brain. When she first tries to understand it, then she opens up to the deeper listening of her soul, and she finds that everything has changed. This is what happens to Savitri. An equal greatness in her life was sown. He takes us back to the image of the seed. This word was the seed. A seed has been sown in her being, and this is the effect that it has had. And then continues, but we'll read the next section. It's that next section. So, Sudan, or would you like to? Sudan.
Why does it say yogas here instead of yogis here? 239. 230. He is talking of mantras working on people's mind or soul. Maybe because of the meter and rhythm of this sentence.
I don't know if it's rhythm, but I don't know, it has some kind of special effect. But I think maybe it's something like, I mean, in yoga's ear, it's the yoga of union with this deeper knowledge. It's not just the yogi, but it's
Yoga's process.
yeah, something like that.
Sorry, please.
The customs, scenes were now an ended play, moving in news amid familiar forms, tossed by new magnitudes and fairy signs. She turned to hush not yet her own, allured her heart throat to unknown sweetnesses. The secret of an unseen world were closed. The morn went up into a smiling sky, cast from its sapphire pinnacle of bronze. Day sank into the burning gold of eve. The moon floated a luminous wrath through heaven and sank below the oblivious age of dream. Night lit the watchfires of eternity. Then all went back into mind's secret caves, a darkness stopping on the heaven's bird's wings. Sealed in her senses from external sight, and opened the stupendous depth of sleep, when the pale dawn slipped through night's shadowy guard. Vainly the newborn light desired her face. The palace spoke to its own emptiness. The sovereign of its daily joys was far. Her moonbeam heat tinged not the loosened floor. The beauty and dignity were gone. Delight had fled to search the spaceless world. Area of Canto 3.
So we see that Savitri's life and her outer awareness are completely changed by these words of Asapati. Accustomed scenes were now an ended play. All that her life had been in the palace, her learning the arts and crafts and all of that, seeing the sages come and go, all of that was an ended play. Now she's touched by new magnitudes and fiery signs. She turned to vastnesses not yet her own. and allured, her heart throbbed to unknown sweetnesses. The secrets of an unseen world were close. She senses the new things that are coming. And then it just describes the ending of the day and the night.
The secret of an unseen world will close when we like what we experience, also when we like to do the journey.
When we want to go on a journey, we anticipate that.
It was very dramatic how she gets the mantra from him, and by that, in that very night, she calls. It's really good.
Apparently that happened in the morning. The morn went up into a smiling sky, cast from its sapphire pinnacle of trance, and then day sank into the burning gold of eve. The moon floated, a luminous waif through heaven, like an orphan, I guess, and a lost child, and sank below the oblivious edge of dream. Night lit the watchfires of eternity, the stars. Then all went back into mind's secret caves. Darkness stooping on the heaven bird's wings, sealed in her senses from external sight, and opened the stupendous depths of sleep. Goes into a profound night of darkness and sleep. And then, when the pale dawn slipped through night's shadowy guard, vainly the newborn light desired her face. She is departed. The palace woke to its own emptiness. The sovereign of its daily joys was far. She was the sovereign of its joy. Her moonbeam feet tinged not the lucent floors. The beauty and divinity were gone. Delight had fled to search the spacious world. Okay, we stop there.
the very dawn. Spirit could not carry God. Verily, the newborn light deserves her praise. The valley waits to its own emptiness. Knowledge of its daily joy was found. Her moody feet did not the lucent floor. The beauty and divinity were gone. The light had fled to share the Savior's word.
Thanks to Shirley.